Therefore we see that it was God himself who created, and not some so-called third deity or person of a so-called Trinity. I tell you Trinitarians, if you continue to hold on to this lying, diabolical, and confusing doctrine, you one day will stand before Almighty God, and you will be found guilty of bearing false witness, and you will be also found guilty of idol worship. You will be found guilty of breaking the very first commandment of the Decalogue, which says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." I say this because you, through your false doctrine, have fabricated an extra god or deity or divine person that absolutely does not exist. Almighty God, after closing his eyes, tolerating and winking at this gross doctrinal error among the Gentiles for the last 1800 years, will now, I believe, no longer tolerate it. He now calls and says, "Come out of her, my people." The error of this evil doctrine is finally coming to its fullness, and God is no longer holding back the powers of darkness. He is allowing the Gentile Christians who do not repent of this evil doctrine to be given up to demonic forces. Just look at what is going on all over the world.
他的仆人尤其成千上万。恢复我们的景象好，连小孩子、儿童们也不例外。喜乐的将也忘记他百姓日夜在他未有的大复兴。虽然火焰
Let's get strong. I got the army of little kids.
Yeah, he loves us.
Have you ever had something injected into your body that made you feel good?
Praise God.
So will the Spirit visit your nation. Oh, Karabande. There's such an anointing moving here right now. We're in Colombia, South America.
Here I just briefly want to add something. What you have just seen in these clips is the manifestation of the latent power of the soul. The soul is the faculty of man which Satan uses. It is the faculty and power by and through which Satan had worked in the Eastern religions. Through its gurus, he was likewise able to do marvelous feats, healing and great miracles and so on. But I tell you, in fact I warn you, in these end times this demonic power is now being manifested and spread like wildfire in apostate Christendom. The Word of God, in no uncertain terms, tells us in the book of the Apocalypse that these are, and I quote, "the spirits of devils working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world," unquote. That's found in chapter 16 and verse 14. The manifestation of this soul power is what the charismatic and New Age movement is all about. For the deceived Christians, or Christians so-called, the roots of this deception lies in the false doctrine of Pentecostalism, which says you must have some feeling or manifestation coming into your five senses. And unless you do, say they, you don't have the Holy Spirit. Well, that is just absolutely false. The release of this latent power of the soul is the mortar, as it were, which is binding together the bricks of world ecumenism. In the so-called Christian world, this power will unify all the deceived Christians and bring them into the one world church. For these people, truth and doctrine no longer matter. One of the greatest dangers or perils for Christians today is passivity of mind. Apart from outright sin, this passivity of mind is a chief condition for the working of evil spirits in human beings. In the end, these powers of darkness would make a person a machine, an automation, a slave to their will. As we have already just briefly seen, the poor people are being jerked around and being thrown on the ground. For some, it is as though they have gone mad. But you see, in order for this to happen, these people must first meet the conditions of the enemy, and that is passivity of mind. And it's interesting, this is the exact goal and condition in which the Pentecostals get their victims into in order to receive their so-called baptism of the Holy Spirit. Yes, friends, Satan first demands passivity of mind in order to achieve his compulsory action upon the human body. I have seen Pentecostal people literally slithering and sliding out of their seats like snakes, being pulled down to the floor by compulsory demonic powers. You see, if we want to know the difference between Satan's power and God's power in human experience, then we must give great heed to the word surrender. This word, surrender, is of great importance to the subject at hand. The Christian is never to surrender his mind and will to some spirit or spiritual phenomena, etc., blanking out the reasoning and intelligent powers of his mind and entering into some form of passivity. If he does this, he opens himself up for evil spirits to give him a false experience. And this is exactly what millions of gullible Christians and people are doing today. They either do it alone or through a minister of Satan who coaches them or beguiles them to do this. The word surrender is correctly used in reference to the Christian making an intelligent and rational decision to stop sinning and to follow after God's will as revealed in the New Testament scriptures. The true Hebrew God of love and holiness never demands passivity of mind for his working in and through us. In fact, he demands just the opposite. In one place, for example, he says, quote, "Come, let us reason together," unquote. Isaiah 1 and verse 18. Yes, the true God requires cooperation with him through the full use of our intelligent minds and wills. He desires that we should be free, intelligent, sovereign in our own sphere. Of course, knowing we have no life in us apart from abiding in Jesus Christ. In this way, our spirit will grow and be developed. We will become more and more like Jesus. As the New Testament tells us in 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 18, quote, "But we all with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord," unquote.